Hello. I've created a Maximo integration with Twitter. There are 4 places where I've integrated Maximo and Twitter. The first is in Maximo's email system. Wherever Maximo can send an email, it can now also send a status update or a direct message. The second is in Change Status Dialog of the asset application. The third is in the Change Status Dialog of the location application. And the last is the ability to create a service request from a tweet. Sending tweets, either public status updates or private direct messages, is supported wherever Maximo can send an email. This includes communication templates, but also internal calls to Maximo's send mail methods. This is done without making any changes to any existing Maximo class. Let me show you how this works. I will navigate to the Communication Templates application and bring up one of the communication templates I've created. You'll notice that the recipient is status update @_Twitter. The format is necessary to get by some of Maximo's validation. To send a direct message, simply create an address in the form of screen name @_Twitter. For example, my screen name is that Maximo guy, so if to send a direct message to me, it would be that Maximo guy @_Twitter. I have a workflow set up to use this communication template. So from the asset application here, I have a workflow that sends out a notification using a communication template. So in this case, I will activate the asset. And navigate back here. You'll notice that the tweet has been sent automatically. So using the communication template, it took the asset's description and placed it into the message and sent it to Twitter. An alternative method of tweeting a status change is provided in the Change Status dialog box. One example of how this could be used, imagine Halifax Transit runs Maximo and has their ferries as assets. If the Dartmouth ferry has to be removed from service for servicing, then a tweet can be sent out at the same time informing users that the ferry is out of service and there will be a schedule impact. Similarly, when the ferry is running again, a tweet can be sent directly from Maximo to indicate that ferry service is back to normal. I am going to activate this status, or this asset. So I tweeted that the electric cart has been painted blue, and I come back to Twitter and I see that, sure enough, the electric cart has been painted blue. The location application has a similar customization to the asset application and is meant to be used in the same way. There's a text box on the Change Status dialog box in which to enter a status update, and that gets sent to Twitter when the status gets changed. The Twitter integration also provides the ability to automatically create an SR from a tweet. The criteria Maximo uses to identify tweets is controllable based on sender, recipient, and hashtags. To prevent abuse by Twitter users, Maximo can map Twitter users to Maximo users, then create SRs only from users with the correct signature security options. So I'm going to create a tweet that will be picked up by Maximo. And I will mark it with a hashtag that Maximo will use to identify the tweet. As you can see now, Maximo has picked up the tweet that the electric cart has a flat tire and responded, "Thank you, SR 1746 has been created in Maximo." Now if we navigate to the service request application and bring up 1746, there it is. And it's populated the record. It'll automatically populate user information based on the tweet. I have it set up as Mike Wilson is associated with that Maximo Guy account, and it's picked up the person's username and the Twitter handle. It populates the long description from the conversation. If there were a series of conversations, then you'd see all of those tweets in the long description. This way, someone handling the service request doesn't have to log into Twitter. When the service request changes status, the original tweet is responded to. So this message will be sent as a reply to the original tweet. Whoops. So I'm going to close that status and send this message. And if we come back to Twitter, you'll see that right away we've responded, we fixed the tire, you're good to go. And if we view the conversation, you'll see that it is a reply to the initial request and not to the reply that Maximo sent that it created a service request. Creating the SRs from a tweet is handled by a cron in Maximo. Different combinations of parameters determine when Maximo will create an SR from which tweets. In the simplest scenario, there's a private Twitter account with allowed users, and any tweets made to that Twitter handle will create an SR. A more complicated but perhaps more typical scenario is a public-facing Twitter account managed by a single user. Twitter users write to the account complaining about a problem or raising a concern. The Twitter user who manages the account will determine if it's a legitimate problem or not, and then reply to the user who raised a concern, including the special hashtag. The hashtag is controllable as a cron parameter. Maximo will pick up on that hashtag and create an SR from that conversation. This third scenario is similar to the second scenario, but in this case, the organization has a number of different user accounts who reply on behalf of the organization. A mapping can be made in Maximo between the Twitter account and a Maximo user, and through signature security, different users can be authorized to create an SR from a tweet. This gives an organization finer control on who can create an SR. The benefits to the users of this integration are improved communication with their users about assets and locations, improve customer service by creating SRs from tweets and never lose track of a request again, and improve the business by having an analyzable collection of data.